So today we're here to review the Treehouse Child Care Center loan. The amount is for $180,000. It'll be a 6% fixed interest rate. It is a bridge loan, so it's only going to be for 1 year. I am proposing that it's going to be 12-month interest only. I know the thing I sent out says 6 months. I apologize on that. And then the full payment will be due at the end or whenever reimbursement is given, whichever is first. But Mandy is here, so I'm going to let her talk about the project and what it is. So I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. And it's like, feel free to ask questions because what I do, there's so many like nuances. Like when you email and you're like, what's the 4410 tuition? I'm like, you could say that so many different ways, but it's so much when you're working with state education, OCFS, all of the things. So last year, I don't want to try to be very politically correct about this, but we got into a position where we had to basically pivot what we were doing in order to make we basically were like, okay, the only way that this is going to work with especially losing the pre-K classrooms that we were running in the school next door, which is a whole separate thing. But we're like, we can go into the special ed world, which we were already planning to. We just were going to wait a whole nother year because of the process, right? But we had started the process pretty early on. We were told by the state, I love the state, but they don't understand how businesses run. State ed has no idea how a business runs. So we were told it was going to be 2 months to get our approval to run special ed programs, which would have put us in August, which would have given us time to enroll these kids into the special ed program. So just so that you understand how this works, in our building, we have 4 preschool classrooms, 2 infant and 2 toddler classrooms within the building. We took 3 of those preschool classrooms and we turned them into special education integrated programs. So half of the kids in each of those classrooms are special education children. Those children are identified through the school district. So there's a whole process with identifying a child with a disability and then determining what programs and services that child needs. And then the school district's board approves that child's IEP, and then you can start in the program. So they have their own process to get approved. And because these programs are so hard to find, that oftentimes school districts won't put an integrated program on their IEP to start. And later you have to go back and go through the whole process over again to change it to an integrated program once the slot opens up. Typically that's what happens. So it can be a little bit of a process to get these kids in those slots. But needless to say, we had to prepare everything as far as our approval went to make sure that we were ready to go. So I have a supervising teacher. She's acting as our administrator. She is a doctorate level special education. She has her doctorate in special education and curriculum instruction. She's worked in a school district as a director of special education, and she's got her certification for school building district leader. So she's overseeing our whole program and like teaching us everything that we need to know in order for us. So we're really, really well equipped with her at the helm. And then we hired, you have to have therapists. So you have to be ready to service these special ed kids for OT, PT, and speech services. We also have a behavior technician on staff as well. We're seeing a lot of sensory and behavioral things going on. So we're very well staffed. What happened financially when you're preparing for this program and you're hiring your staff and you're all ready to go, and then the state sits on it. So what we thought what we were told would be 60 days ended up being, we didn't get our approval until October. So we had to hold open those spots for special ed students, because if I enrolled all my spots for preschool and I had nowhere to put these special ed kids, that's a whole nother year. And when I'm looking at finances, that doesn't work financially. So I had to make a decision. Are we going to take the loss by not doing special ed, or are we going to take the loss and then get the special ed that will make up for the loss? So that hurt us when we had to basically wait until we could enroll these kids. And then once we had our approval, again, that starts the whole trying to get these kids enrolled into the program, which is a process in and of itself. But so total 22 spots that we had for these students with disabilities. We, as of March, the first week in March, we will be filled with all of those spots. So that's great. There is a huge need for it in this area. Because we were holding those spots for preschool, and we ended up turning the State Street property into a preschool classroom. Originally it was going to be toddler. It's now going to be a preschool classroom because we saw the need. And again, that location specifically goes back to the need of our staff, because we are taking advantage of a tax credit that helps us with some write-offs if we're doing provider childcare or employer provided childcare. So we have to have at least 30% of those kids staff kids. So we had a lot of staff with preschool kids, so it just made sense. And it's more profitable with preschool anyway because you can actually put more students in a classroom. So that worked out with the State Street location. So really, not only did we have to hold open those slots in the beginning, but the state still has not approved our rates. And that was another curveball that was not made clear at all for the state. Again, they do not understand how a business is run. So I'm like, this is interesting. Why is it taking so long to get a rate? That doesn't make any sense. You submit, and this is so very, very interesting, honestly. I think that there's some reformations going on. I did speak with the rate setting unit up at State Ed, and they did say that they are trying to fix a lot of these issues because this is a huge barrier for programs being able to start up these kinds of programs. Is why wouldn't you have a flat bottom rate that you're not going to get less than this, so we can give you this, and then once there's an approved rate, you can get the back pay on that. That doesn't make any sense to me that you would get nothing until the rate's approved. But that's something that they're working on at the state level. But in the meantime, this is what it is. So I have not gotten a cent on these special ed kids, going all the way back from our first one started at the last week in October. So we're holding over all of those receivables right now. And at first there was no clarity as to how long this would take. And then my special education, she's like the liaison in the area, and she's like, yeah, I've seen it take up to a year. And I was like, what? That's probably something I should have known like way back a long time ago. So it's not going to take a year. They did give us a proposed rate. This was back in December, and it was a rate that was just way too low. I was like, that's not what my budget reflects at all. Like you put forth the budget, you tell the state, like, these are all the supports we're putting in place, this is how much our program costs, and then they, they're supposed to help do it off the budget, but then they're like, well, we have to look at what, there's this whole thing, I guess. And so we sat down and had a conversation with the rate setting unit. We explained, and they were really good. Like, you could tell that they wanted to help us and help not just us, but like this world in general. That this is just not enough money. And to me, this is kind of a little off topic, but like, I don't understand why it's so hard to get funding for childcare, like in this state. Like, I just do not understand it at all when there's such a high need. But anyway, all that to say, they did redo our rates and they proposed a higher rate. So it was worth it waiting for them to do that with the new rate that they're proposing. But now it's at the Department of Budget, then they have to approve it. Then once that approved rate goes in, the county will get it, and then the county would reimburse. I can't even bill the county until I have that rate. So that's why we kind of need that money just to hold us over until we get those receivables. That's where we're at. So
I have a quick question.
Yeah,
You said
absolutely.
that you met with the rate setting unit and they proposed a new rate.
yeah,
Who is that? That's State Ed?
State Ed. Yeah, it's like a Department of State Ed. Yep.
So the new rate is the 271.61.
Which, yeah, that's a pretty big difference from the 225.
It is yes. And I mean, honestly, and when I'm looking at those numbers at first rate, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't even. So right now I'm working as the CEO with everything that comes with that. And I'm also working as a special ed coordinator, which is a position that we had budgeted for. This person is like, they kind of like help with enrollment. They help with CPSE meetings, making sure that the IEPs are being followed. We also are approved to do evaluations and outside related services. So not only do we service the kids in our building, but I can send therapists out to service kids in their home. So this person's kind of just coordinating all of it, and that's me right now, which is very exhausting when
A
I'm
lot.
literally working 2 jobs right now. But it's good because for me, like, it's good that I'm learning all of this. It helps me to be a better leader. So when I do, eventually fill the role, then I'll know how to lead the role. So it's good. It's just a lot right now. But I'm looking at that first rate and I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to afford a special ed coordinator. I was like, I can't do this like ongoing. This is crazy. But with that new rate, I should be able. The numbers work so much better. It's still not the budget we put in for, but it's doable. That rate is absolutely doable. So. Any other questions?
Childcare is a tough industry.
It is.
So thanks for doing what you
It's
do
a
for
very
caring
tough-
for kiddos.
Thank you. Yeah, it's tough. It's very rewarding,
Mhm.
but it is tough. Especially this winter has been. This winter has. We put like. Go ahead.
Yeah, Kylie and I toured her site,
Yeah.
and it was so impressive.
Oh, thank
I
you.
just want to say, like, the security, the amount of children, and the amount of workers. I mean, you have quite a few.
Right down to the kitchen that you're
And the
making everything
kitchen.
there.
You
Yeah.
know, they cook the
Yeah.
food, and then there's babies there, and it's impressive. It's a very well run.
Thank you. Thank you.
Facility.
I can appreciate it. My wife has all of her special ed certs and did it for like 12 years. Now she does second grade only, but
Okay. It's hard.
It's a,
It's hard, and it's hard to find special ed teachers too, certified ones. It's one of those jobs where, you got to be able to pour back into yourself because you're pouring out every day. A lot of these kids, these are not the same kids we had 5-10 years ago. There's a lot of high needs right now, a lot of high needs, and if we can give them these supports while they're young, like before the age of 5, at 5 is usually when the brain kind of not hardens, solidifies, they're more malleable when they're younger. So like if you can get those supports in, the younger they are, you're gonna have better outcomes on the other end. So
And
it just makes sense.
so hard to find spots for kids.
Yes,
So
yes,
your 22 spots are definitely needed.
yes, they are. Yep.
I have one question on the projections.
Sure.
Where are you servicing the debt? Where is the balloon payment? I don't see it unless it's there and
So-
I'm missing it completely.
Yeah, so that's gonna be probably built into it when on those projections, I've got the receivables that I'm supposed to be getting in. So whatever that profit is on the bottom is gonna go, but then also with that tax credit that I'm getting every year, I have that in there. I think it says 190
Right,
and
but it's,
190.
yeah, 190 paying, it says line of credit.
Yep, so that's either gonna go to the line of credit or it's gonna go to this payment. So I've got one coming in, the 190's this year. That's coming in this year, and then I've got another one coming in next year. I don't know that I put it on. I don't
Yeah,
know
you
that
didn't, that's why I was
put it on.
like, I don't.
Yeah,
see
I
where
think I
you're
just put it on the
servicing
first year. Because I don't know exactly what that number is gonna be until the end of the year when I can look at what my expenses were on that building. But estimating it's gonna be close to 100, 150.
Right. But it'll be 180,000 that you have to pay back.
Right, so what's the, at the end of this year, what was sorry, I didn't print it out, my printer is not working.
159
No,
was your.
right, this page here. Yeah, so it would be, so this is the end of, this is year 1. Is this year 1?
Yeah.
Yes, year 2.
Year 2 and
So that's the 159 and then plus that tax credit for next year, which is gonna be,
you're saying 100,000 in year
100,000.
2?
yep.
Okay. So where is the interest that you're monthly paying?
So I've got the interest line in here.
Okay, so
And-
that $1,200, that's our loans?
So this is, yes, I believe that I did put that in there. I know this is gonna look funky, but I think on up top, the payments for all of the mortgages are the interest and
Okay, so that's what my
principal
next question, so
put
these
in
are.
together, yes.
Okay,
I didn't break it out just because it's weird, how it changes every month. For me, it's just easier to put it as an expense So it's the principal and the interest up top there.
Yeah, those amounts fluctuate for
Yeah.
ours.
For our stuff.
Yeah. 14 and 16, that's principal and interest.
Yeah.
Interest, right. So the 1,200, that's the interest payments for the 180, right?
Well, and I don't know what the interest payments are gonna be, so it's rough, but it's a rough estimate, so I may have to update those.
Yeah, I think
Closer
about
to
10,
it'll be,
10
yeah.
10 grand,
Yeah.
Just
11
under
grand,
11,
okay,
yeah.
so that covered it. I just wasn't sure if that was our loan or there was another interest payment that you were covering there, that's all I was just wondering.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and look at what formula I put in there, but I'm gonna double check on that. Did you have a interest payment, like what that's gonna be monthly, just so I can double check, make sure I put.
About it, roughly around 10 of the year is like 10,000.
Yeah,
Like
about 900 a
Okay,
month.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, there you go. Ask the bankers.
Yeah, cause
Yeah,
I
because
was,
when I did this and I wasn't sure what kind of loan you guys were gonna give me, so I just had to. Yeah.
right, so yeah, that's what I was just wondering, I didn't see service of the debt, so in the 180,000, a big
Yeah.
chunk is, I'm only seeing like the, you know, profit of 159.
Sorry, I should
That's
have made it more clear. I
Yeah.
probably did this at 10 o'clock at night after working my 2 jobs. I'm trying to like wear
Yeah, I
all of the
get it.
different hats, so.
On the same, and maybe I'm just misreading it, Kylie, but on the same kind of path, we have Water 1060, JCIDA, NCA. That's on our 180.
That, yes, so the reason I also have 180 for the WLDC is because we are prepared to, we're
Okay,
being
okay,
prepared to
alright.
do the full
I
180.
wasn't sure if it was
Um,
180 plus
plus
the
the
other.
rest.
Yeah, so it really should say 180, maybe like, or 60, that's
Okay.
probably how it should word.
Because our board's not meeting till end of the month,
Right.
our loan committee, and then the board's the following month.
So we'd
So
be
she wanted to
looking,
take
yeah,
action.
Okay,
I want to take action before we're able to do that.
no,
with
that's
the-
fine. I just wasn't sure if it was 180 or 360.
No,
Yep.
you, yes, so it should say or, so I will fix that for the loan write-up. And as I said, it would be the 1 year, interest
Yeah,
only,
1 year, okay.
not
And
the
as,
6 months.
as far as the collateral position behind WSB and then our
Will be-
WSB ourselves.
Yes,
Okay.
correct. So I believe from what Pete, our attorney said, that we would be fourth position, from my conversation with him. But it's really more as a, like an economic development project. Any more questions?
Did Division of Budget, do you have any sort of timeline from anybody about
I-
what that might be?
So originally, when she first gave me the first budget, she told me, this was early January, and she had said, if you accept this, I could have your rate sometime in early February. And then from there, I'd have to bill the county, which can take another month. So from the time that we got the rate, I was estimating about 2 months. So I don't know if that timeline's different now that they've told me that potentially the Department of Budget might push back on that higher rate. I don't know. I did email them and ask like, hey, do you know what the
Yeah.
timeline is? So I was hoping to give that to you today, and I haven't heard back. They're not.
But when did they send it along?
So that was, I can tell you exactly.
Say a little over a week ago,
It was,
Sweet.
it was not that long ago.
Okay.
He sent it. When did he send it? Okay, it was 1 week ago today.
Okay.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
with the 22 slots, roughly how many jobs? has that
So so that's, the jobs are within the classroom mostly stay the same because there are slots within the classroom itself, but the jobs basically that we opened up would be for the therapists. So 3 therapy positions, a special education coordinator, And any extra staffing, so if a child needs a one-to-one aide, we go through that process, and then that's a whole nother staff, full-time staff, so. It could vary, but minimum, and now those classrooms have to have special ed teachers, so before it would be like a general education teacher plus 2 assistants. Now it's a special education teacher, a general education teacher, another 1 or 2 assistants. So you could say that we opened up one more role for each of those classrooms, one more position, because we're staffing more in there typically. So in all, I would say at least 7 or 8, because we went the special ed route. And then from there, again, like I can hire more therapists. I'm trying to hire a speech language pathologist. So if you know someone, let them know we're hiring. But I can hire more therapists that can go and service the community too. So it opens us up to a lot. We're doing a lot of evaluations as well, where our therapists are licensed and certified to evaluate children to see if they qualify for special ed services. So we get paid by the county for that. And then we get paid for doing the related services too. So there is a line item on there. I gave like a rough number, but that number the more therapists that we have on staff doing these things, the more profitability it gives us.
Okay. Depending upon the timing of these reimbursements and stuff, if we're doing 12 months and she can't pay off the whole thing, what, we plan on terminating it out, or is it just gonna be a loan brought back?
So we would bring it back to,
Back to the board.
yeah.
You got a question?
Any other questions? Well, thank you for coming in.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for what you do.
There'll probably be more.
I was just gonna say, if you have more,
I'll send them over.
yes, feel free to reach out. Okay. And stay warm.
Yeah, at least it's not so bad this morning. I thought this is kind of nice.
I mean, well,
But
it's not nice, especially when we put like this roof melt system on part of my roof, and with the really cold temperatures, it backfired. So it had frozen at the bottom, so there was no way to run off the leaking, so it just started leaking right into my classrooms.
Oh.
So I now joke about how my third job is replacing ceiling tiles.
Jeez.
I'm like, yeah, I'm ready for this winter to be done.
Yeah.
I think we all are. Have a good one, you guys.
You too.
Thank you.
Yeah. He's gonna go.
Okay, it's gone, boy.
Quickly talk.
Still
I'm
on
kidding.
camera though.
But yeah, so there are some, the additional question is, do you happen to know what the exposure WSB has?
I can find out.
Okay, I emailed Chuck, but he's probably tired of my questions by now, so.
Yeah, there's been 2 emails he hasn't responded to. so
Yeah,
far.
he's probably like, what's that, Kylie?
Just CC me.
Oh, I will. I'll start doing that.
Yeah.
So we're being asked to approve a $180,000 loan?
Yeah, so technically their funding will be projected to run out. So we also don't have a meeting this month, so we'd be voting via email, and then ratifying it at the March board meeting. However, it's not a guarantee the other agencies are going to approve their 60 each, because, which I get.
Potentially could be 60.
It could be
us,
60,
60
but we have to be
ideas,
prepared to
60
do the
answers.
180,000.
And we may have to upfront the 180,000
Yes.
because of the timing situation,
We'd want to get it
It's
through
kind
as
of-
fast.
an urgency.
Yeah, so then the way Peter explained it was then we would sell the 60,000 for each agency, and they would so pretty much we'd be selling that part of the loan, and then, because when I called him, I was like, hey, listen, I don't know, is this possible? And he's like, well, I don't do it often, but we can do that. I said, okay. And again, we would, from his research on it all, we would be his 4th position, co-proportional. on everything. So essentially, as most of our loans, it's not like it's all that well secured. But we do, our other loans are fully secured by the properties. Because I know I've also been very vocal about not having more than 2 loans per guarantor, but I think this is definitely a special circumstance. As we know, special education slots are so rare, they are so hard to get into.
Every school struggles with it.
Exactly.
My wife did it for years, and there's sometimes the schools overdo,
Oh, yes.
almost too many per teacher.
It's,
No
yeah.
one's.
And like my daughter's in like an inclusion, she's in 2nd grade, she's in an inclusion like classroom, and the amount of children in that classroom that need, I mean, like Quinny, I mean, my daughter gets taken out for like reading, but most of those kids are taken out for like 3 different things throughout the day. So, and speech pathologists are very hard to come by, so again, definitely when she said that, I was like, yeah, I've heard that.
Not just special education slots, so there are no slots to accommodate the workforce. It's creating a workforce
Yes.
shortage. We can't afford to lose another center in this region, particularly not a center this size.
Yes.
Right, it would be devastating to the workforce infrastructure.
Right, but would she shut down if she doesn't? Or she would just shut down the special ed?
That would we have to ask her if we did, I mean, the whole.
I'm just
pivoting-
speaking theoretically,
Yeah,
Robin, that it's a tough world to be a childcare
Yeah,
provider
absolutely.
and to meet all the regulations and to depend on all these funding.
All the grant,
Yeah.
Fed reimbursements.
And she's done-
reimbursements are tough.
And we've lost a lot of centers over the last decade or so. We've
Oh,
lost a lot
absolutely.
of slots and we just can't afford to lose any more. I feel this body has an obligation to support the workforce. I would
Yeah.
be supportive of this law.
My only concern is, depending upon what comes back with the exposures, is if she's maxed out on the Watertown line and she has these funds from us, who's gonna be required to pay down first?
Yeah. So this would obviously, this would be the last, this would be, our other stuff that we have would be very secure. This would be the risk. Fortunately, we are also in a financial position that we can handle that type of risk. We are very fortunate for that. So that is probably the one big reason where I'm like, okay, like it is a huge need. It is very, sometimes a little nerve-wracking thinking like, hey, are we gonna get paid on this? But we also, the other thing I should also note, we have her on ACH for everything, and we've never had any issues with our existing debt with her as well.
Always been very, very good on paying,
Did we
even
get
before the
balance?
ACH, but now she's automatic,
Just saw projections, I don't see any.
Of all of the existing debt,
Just.
because we're working on
Assets,
that.
liabilities, all of that stuff.
We probably have it somewhere, there's been a lot of emails back and forth.
She did do the trial balance.
Yep, so I'm getting
For
that.
2025, it was, wasn't it?
Okay, here's, sorry, throwing things at you. This is the most recent one, right? Yes. So I mean, this is the actual application, also has financials. Okay. I was saying, Christina, if you want anything that you want to add, because I know Watertown Savings Bank is also, they're the ones that, not Christina, Chuck is the one that brought us in, but Christina does have a lot more knowledge on some of the background as well.
Yeah, just her payment's been strong. She's always correct. She's a good customer. She maintains deposits. It's a good relationship. I know that this has been a struggle for her, but there haven't been any credit issues in the past.
And this was a quick pivot, because as the school district stuff was happening right before school started this last year. So that was a huge pivot, especially when you have the staff and everything hired for those positions, and then all of a sudden it's
Taken out.
taken out. So that is one of the big reasons for the negative for the previous year. But that's one thing that she's done a great job at pivoting. And if you haven't toured her space, I suggest getting a hold of her to go do it, because
it's amazing.
it was really eye-opening. Also,
Amazing.
I give credit to all of those people to work with children all day. I was at a birthday party one day, and I was looking around, and my cousin is also a teacher, and I was like, I don't know how people do this all day. I have so much respect for people in that field, so But yeah, as I said, we would be looking to approve the full 180,000 with the knowledge that the 120,000 of that would not be coming back. We hope so, because I think this would be a great show of the economic development agencies coming together in support of something that we know is a true need in the area. But we just have to be prepared that we may be doing it. And there are risks involved. She is halfway through the process. Do I think it's going to get denied? No. I think the Department of Budget will approve it, but we don't know that for sure. We can't guarantee anything of that.
You've been really good with risk management, like you haven't taken any crazy risks.
No.
Not that, I don't think this is a crazy risk, but,
No.
financial position is strong. To me, it feels like the right thing to do. Thank you for nodding. I like it when a banker nods.
And I've had conversations again with, poor Christina's had to listen to me about it too. Our attorney I've talked to about it. Again, his concerns were just, hey, if it doesn't go through. But as I said, I am very risk adverse. I do realize in economic development we do have to be risky sometimes. But I do think, I have faith in this project. I think, and it's a 1-year bridge loan. We have seen in the past where we think, hey, we're going to get paid back in a year, and that doesn't happen. I do think this one is one we will get paid back within the year.
Do we, so is the loan dispersed all at once, or is it partially dispersed over time?
We could do either way. We could do half of it because it's roughly $89,000 in
Current.
the cost that she needs per month.
Yeah, working capital.
Yeah, so we could always look at doing, hey, we'll do half now and then half later.
It'd
That's
probably
really-
be
It's not bad.
easier and for the attorneys, not easier, but cleaner for the attorneys to do it all at once.
Yeah.
There's more
My
risk
thoughts.
with that potentially too.
Yeah. So that is completely up to the
Right.
loan and the loan committee and then the board.
Mhm.
I'm for either. Because if we did do it that way, we did say 90,000 now and 90,000 halfway through next month, we would at least know if the IDA approved. When is NCA? I don't think we know.
MCA meets next week, loan review.
Yes, okay, then the board is,
I assume a week later.
okay.
Is it 2 weeks later?
I don't know what the date is for
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
So we potentially
Not
would
sure.
know at that point, and I guess we could just release the additional 90,000 in funds at the same time as selling whatever loan portions, if that makes sense. It's like computing right in my head. But
I'd say
that's,
talk to Pete about it too, Pete says.
yeah. He's used to all my random questions, so. Because I'm like, is this possible? But I don't know. I'm putting his first.
Yeah, motion to approve.
I say, do we have a second? Obviously, be contingent on the conversation with Peter about how we structure it. But, so we have a first.
I'll second. The banker's second.
Okay. And then we can adjourn at 9:05. At least turn the